Brenda has given us a call from the Highlands. 0344 499 1000 is the number she has called, and you can too. Brenda, what point would you like to make on this? You're very welcome to Talk TV this afternoon.
Thank you very much. What I would like to say, I'm actually appalled at the way you're all discussing Prince Harry. OK, I realise he is an adult now and can make his own decisions. But the reason, I know you're laughing, I can see you here on the television, but you forget he was a 9-year-old child when his mother died. And unfortunately, because of his situation, being a prince of the so-called United Kingdom, he was not allowed to grieve as a normal 9-year-old child who had just lost a parent.
Brenda, Brenda,
just let me finish, please.
Sure, go ahead.
Finish. Right. Now, that young boy of 9 years old was not allowed to grieve. He was made to walk behind his mother's coffin. And I actually think that was cruel.
I think that was cruel too, Brenda.
But Brenda, we have spoken about this. We have been discussing the fact that in many respects Harry is a damaged young man who has gone through so much in his life, and perhaps the people surrounding him in America should stop exploiting him.
You ask people to phone in, but you do not allow them to speak.
Brenda, we're letting you speak. Do you want to respond to what Alex has had to say there?
Yes, because she has her own opinion, and so have I. And to be honest, just because she is there and she thinks that she is on television, it doesn't make her right what she says. We are all entitled to opinion.
Absolutely, Brenda, but I want to know from you, Brenda. Brenda.
I would agree that Prince Harry, perhaps, since he has got older, he has probably not dealt with in the way I think he should have. But there was another comment made that, look at Prince William, look how he... Yes, we all deal with things in different ways. Unfortunately, we cannot all deal with things the same way. Some people are more vulnerable than others.
Can I ask you one question, Brenda? Can I ask you one question?
Yes.
So, in terms of how Prince Harry, first of all, we have expressed our sympathy for Prince Harry and the fact, exactly what you said there in terms of walking behind the coffin. We thought that was dreadful. We think it's awful. People, as you correctly say, definitely deal with exactly the same thing, exactly the same experience in very different ways. What I would question, Brenda, and what I want to ask you and get your opinion on, is all of this stuff, all of putting everything out in the public domain, doing these Netflix series, talking about his grief very, very publicly. I mean, couldn't he have done that in private? Why does he need to do it publicly?
I think perhaps the royal family they deal with things differently from what other normal human beings do. They seem to think that everything they do cannot be questioned. And they seem to think that whatever they do is right. Now, at the end of the day, they're all human beings. They're made of flesh and blood like the rest of us. We all come into the world in the same way. We all go out in the same way. And perhaps sometimes a wee bit sort of humanity should be shown, because that is not what is happening here. And unfortunately, I'm not saying Prince Harry, especially since he got married to Meghan, things have not perhaps been dealt with in the way they should have, but perhaps if they had met each other, if the Buckingham Palace or the powers that be there and Prince Harry could have met and discussed things, well, perhaps things would not have been the way they are now.
Do you not agree, Brenda, that Harry could have done things slightly differently, that there are mistakes that he has made?
Yes, I agree with that, but I think perhaps things could have been done differently on the other side as well. With this thing with the palace always says, what is it? Never
complain, never explain.
No, okay, that is fine. But let's be honest, we're all human beings, and at the end of the day, that's family. And it's all very well the stiff upper lip and all this, and not. That is wrong, because they should have been able to meet and discuss things. I agree, it should never have got to this state of affairs.
So what should he do now? How should he live his life now, Brenda? Because we hear a lot from him. We hear a lot of his opinions on things that are perhaps he's entitled to his opinion, as you are, as I am, as Alex is. Yeah. But at the same time, I wonder what you think his role should be now, Brenda.
I feel very sad for him, actually, and what I feel heart sore for is these two boys, as young children, they seem to be very, very close, and obviously they had their mother's influence, and she seemed to want them to live as two, obviously they were born into royalty, but she wanted them to live as two normal human beings, and to realise that so they were privileged, not everybody is.
Brenda, you make some really good points. We'll agree to disagree on some of them, but thank you very much indeed.
In a blazing moment of radio commentary, a fervent caller erupted with raw emotion, passionately defending Prince Harry against what they perceived as a gross miscarriage of justice. With unwavering conviction, the caller challenged the judge's decision to dismiss the court case, arguing that the Duke of Sussex had been unfairly maligned by a system seemingly stacked against him. The caller's voice trembled with indignation, demanding transparency and fairness, insisting that Harry's perspective deserved a legitimate hearing beyond the sensationalized headlines that have come to define his public narrative. Royal justice under scrutiny, Prince Harry's legal battle ends in controversy. In a stunning turn of events, the courtroom erupted with tension as the judge's decision to dismiss Prince Harry's case sent shockwaves through the legal and media landscape. The ruling, which many view as a gross miscarriage of justice, has ignited a firestorm of public outrage and calls for deeper investigation. Harry, who has consistently fought to expose what he perceives as systemic injustices, now finds himself confronting a legal system that seems deaf to his pleas. Advocates and supporters are demanding accountability, arguing that the dismissal represents more than just a legal setback. It symbolizes a troubling pattern of powerful institutions silencing and marginalizing those who dare to challenge the status quo. The verdict not only impacts Prince Harry's personal quest for truth, but also raises critical questions about fairness, transparency, and the genuine accessibility of justice in high-profile legal battles. The royal controversy, a voice of defiance. In a moment of raw, unfiltered passion, the caller erupted into a thunderous defense of Prince Harry, her voice trembling with indignation at the recent judicial decision that seemed to crush his quest for justice. "This isn't just about a single lawsuit," she proclaimed, her words cutting through the airwaves like a razor-sharp blade of truth. "This is about challenging a system that has systematically silenced and maligned the Duke of Sussex." With remarkable conviction, she demanded complete transparency, arguing that the dismissal of his case was nothing short of a calculated attempt to suppress a narrative that threatened powerful institutional interests. Her plea was more than just support. It was a clarion call for accountability, challenging listeners to look beyond sensationalized headlines and recognize the deeper injustice at play. The caller's emotional intensity was palpable, transforming what could have been a routine commentary into a profound statement about media manipulation, royal dynamics, and the relentless pursuit of personal truth. Royal justice under fire, a heated defense of Prince Harry. The airwaves crackled with raw emotion as the caller launched into a blistering defense of Prince Harry, her voice trembling with indignation at the judge's decision. "This isn't justice, this is a witch hunt!" she erupted, challenging the host with a barrage of passionate arguments that cut through the typical radio discourse. The conversation quickly escalated, with both sides trading increasingly intense volleys about the nuanced legal and personal implications of the court dismissal. Each word was a verbal sparring match, revealing the deep-seated tensions surrounding the royal controversy. The caller refused to back down, her arguments punctuated by sharp, decisive tones that demanded not just listening, but genuine understanding of Prince Harry's perspective. The host, initially composed, found himself pushed to the defensive, struggling to maintain the veneer of objectivity in the face of such uncompromising and heartfelt advocacy. Unraveling the media's royal narrative, a quest for truth. In the swirling tempest of royal reportage, where sensationalism often trumps substance, The recent judicial decision regarding Prince Harry's case demands a nuanced and critical examination. Media outlets have long wielded their narrative power like a double-edged sword, simultaneously informing and potentially distorting public perception. Beneath the bold headlines and provocative sound bites lie complex layers of context, personal struggle, and systemic challenges that rarely receive the measured analysis they deserve. By peeling back these journalistic layers, we can begin to appreciate the human story obscured by sensationalism, a narrative that requires us to suspend knee-jerk judgments and instead engage with empathy, critical thinking, and a genuine commitment to understanding the multifaceted realities that shape public figures' experiences. The Royal Controversy. Prince Harry's battle against media and perception. Prince Harry finds himself trapped in an unrelenting cycle of legal challenges and public scrutiny that continues to erode his personal peace and family dynamics. The ongoing battles, which have become increasingly complex and emotionally draining, have placed unprecedented pressure on the Duke of Sussex, testing the resilience of his relationships and challenging his ability to maintain a sense of dignity and privacy. While the media's relentless narrative threatens to define his identity, Harry's struggles reveal a deeply human story of a man fighting against systemic intrusion and seeking understanding in a world that seems perpetually judgmental. The need for genuine empathy becomes paramount, as his experiences underscore the profound emotional toll of constant public examination and the delicate balance between personal vulnerability and public perception. Despite the mounting challenges, Harry's determination to protect his family and speak his truth remains undiminished, reflecting a resilience that transcends the sensationalist headlines and demands a more compassionate understanding of his journey. The royal family's reckoning, Harry's legal battle, and the monarchy's crossroads. The royal family finds itself at a critical juncture, forced to confront the intense public scrutiny and complex legal challenges surrounding Prince Harry's recent court case. While traditionally maintaining a stoic silence, the institution now faces mounting pressure to openly address the underlying concerns and systemic issues that have thrust the monarchy into an unprecedented media spotlight. Calls for transparency and accountability have grown increasingly vocal, with critics arguing that the royal family can no longer hide behind centuries-old protocols of discretion. The dismissal of Harry's legal action has sparked intense debate about the responsibilities of the royal institution in a modern, rapidly changing social landscape, challenging long-held perceptions of privilege and accountability. As the monarchy grapples with these complex dynamics, the public watches closely, demanding a meaningful response that reflects both historical tradition and contemporary expectations of institutional accountability. The Royal Controversy, a nation divided. Public sentiment surrounding Prince Harry's legal battles reveals a complex tapestry of conflicting emotions and perspectives. The general population stands remarkably fractured, with opinions ranging from staunch support to outright criticism, each view shaped by personal interpretations of media narratives and royal dynamics. While some perceive Harry as a courageous truth-teller challenging institutional norms, others view him as a privileged royal undermining traditional monarchical structures. The nuanced reality lies beyond these polarized perspectives, demanding a more empathetic understanding that recognizes the human experience beneath the sensationalized headlines. Factors such as personal background, media consumption, and individual perceptions of loyalty and authenticity significantly influence how people interpret his actions, creating a social landscape where judgment and compassion constantly intersect. The royal media battle privacy, power, and public perception. The dismissal of Prince Harry's court case reverberates far beyond its immediate legal implications, casting a stark light on the intricate power dynamics between public figures, media institutions, and the fundamental right to privacy. This landmark decision signals a critical moment of reckoning for journalistic accountability, where the boundaries between legitimate reporting and invasive scrutiny become increasingly blurred. The broader media landscape now finds itself at a crossroads, compelled to reassess its ethical standards and the systemic pressures that often prioritize sensationalism over genuine human dignity. As discussions intensify around transparency and the responsibilities of press organizations, this case serves as a potent reminder that privacy is not a luxury, but a fundamental right, even for those living in the public eye. The lessons learned here demand a comprehensive re-evaluation of media practices, urging a more nuanced approach that balances public interest with personal integrity, and ultimately challenges the predatory mechanisms that have long dominated celebrity and royal reporting. The Royal Reckoning, breaking the silence on Harry's legal battle. As the dust settles on this jarring legal confrontation, the path forward demands more than mere procedural resolution. It requires genuine reconciliation and a profound reckoning with systemic inequities. There remains a profound hope that beyond the courtroom drama, a more nuanced understanding can emerge, one that recognizes the deeply personal struggles Prince Harry has endured and the broader implications of his courageous stand against invasive media practices. The call is not for blind sympathy, but for a transparent and just process that acknowledges the human dignity at the heart of this complex narrative. While the dismissal of his case might seem like a setback, it represents an opportunity for broader dialogue about press accountability, royal privacy, and the urgent need for healing in a landscape too often dominated by sensationalism and unchecked power dynamics.